Hi, I'm Mark Smith with Family Tree Counseling Associates, and I'm the author of the ebook, The Basics for a Healthy Life and Marriage. This ebook is my most popular book. It's been downloaded at the time of this video 1,855 times. It is 66 pages long. It's an illustrated PDF file, so there's nice pictures throughout, illustrated. You can read it on your iPad or Kindle. And in the book, I think the reason why it's the most popular is it just covers a lot of ground. It covers understanding shame. And shame is not so much guilt, but it's a dark, heavy feeling of self-loathing, and it's very destructive. And many people suffer a great deal from shame. One of my favorite scenes in a movie is from a movie called The Edge, where Anthony Hopkins plays this billionaire, and they're lost in the Alaskan wilderness, and he's talking with actually Alec Baldwin, and he says, "Do you know what kills people in the wilderness?" And Alec Baldwin, sort of a smart alecky character, says, "No, tell me what kills people in the wilderness." And he said, "Shame." Because if people have shame, they give up hope, and they lack direction, and they just quit fighting. So there's a great focus on shame, not only the internal type of shame, but the shame between a couple, where both people are both defensive and emotionally reactive, and they don't hear each other. So we cover that kind of shame. I cover abandonment issues, or hyper irrational, highly emotional jealousy. A lot of that going on out there. I'm sure my readers, some of them will register with that issue. Very volatile, very painful issue for couples. We talk a lot about counterdependency and codependency. And I'll just cover that real quick. Counterdependent, there's 4 traits, is arrogant, grandiose, know-it-all. That's the first trait is under grandiose. You can't move them off his position or her position. They're very confident. They're good vision casters. They can get people to follow them. Codependent is the opposite of that. It's somebody who's more insecure. So the codependent is a follower looking for a leader. The counterdependent is a leader looking for a follower. Second thing about a counterdependent, they're highly independent. They're not accountable. They can work you under the table. If they're male, many times their neediness is sublimated to sexuality. So if they're working hard, they're getting paid, they're getting laid, they're happy as can be, even if there's no intimacy in their marriage. The second thing about a codependent is they begin the relationship emotionally dependent. They might very well be financially dependent throughout the relationship. As the relationship drifts apart, as almost all marriages do within the first 7 years, and as there's this great distance, then you have to go somewhere else to get those dependency needs met because he's at work. Okay. The third thing with a counterdependent is a 3-parter. He tends to be oblivious in his own little world. Tends to be self-absorbed. Now he'll tell you he's working for the family, and he's out there just making a living selflessly for the family. But you and I both know he's out there doing it for his ego and the family. But it's his thing. You know, he digs it. So, and then the third part is they tend to be addictive, and work tends to be the number one addiction, then sex, alcohol, food. The third thing for a codependent is they are too other-centered. Their first thought is, what about the kids? What about my spouse? But it is rarely, what do I want? What do I need? The last thing is with a counterdependent is they're controlling. And the last thing with a codependent is they're just too passive. So the book goes into great detail about a relationship between a counterdependent and a codependent. So the book also focuses on emotional intimacy and resolving conflict. The reason couples drift apart is they can't resolve conflict. They can't resolve conflict because they have shame, they don't hear each other, they're defensive, somebody has abandonment issues and they act crazy, and so issues just get dropped because it's too painful to keep fighting. And then they hang there invisibly like an invisible wall between that couple until you're so alienated that you stop having sex and you just completely drift apart. So we talk about, in the book, I talk about how to resolve conflict, the importance of feeling your feelings and being vulnerable and embracing the pain. If you're going to build a healthy marriage that lasts 50 years, you're going to have to do some intense work, and it is going to be painful. If you are looking for a couple of quick tips, then don't download this book, because it isn't going to give you quick tips. It's going to give you everybody is pretty wounded, everybody's pretty dysfunctional, everybody's pretty broken. Here's what you need to do, the work you need to do on yourselves so that you're not too broken and you don't blow your marriage up. So it'll give you a lot of direction to heal the wounds from your childhood, to deal with any addictive behavior, and to not be codependently enabling in a relationship. So my style has been called edgy. I like to be informal. Part of why I wanted to do the video was just to have you get a sense of my voice and my mannerisms, just so you can maybe have a face to go with the words in the book. So I try to make it sort of likable, sort of folksy, but you'll have to tell me if the book resonates with you. Currently, the book is free, and it has been free since it's been on the website for a couple years now. But starting in September, we are going to start charging for all the books. And the reason why is I have a new book coming out. It's going to be over 100 pages on abandonment. And I think it's probably going to be the best book ever written on the topic of abandonment issues. So if you'd like to know more about that book and like to form a relationship with us and be on our mailing list, then you're on the home page at the top there where it says welcome. There's a place where you can click, and it'll bring you to where you can just type in your email address and join our mailing list. Or you could hit contact us at the top navigation, and that'll bring you to that page. You just type in your email list. You'll get an email once a week, and on it has my weekly blog, or link to my weekly blog, plus the other 11 therapists that are here in the north side of Indianapolis who work at Family Tree. They also blog. We make YouTube videos, obviously. We have a couple ladies who have a radio podcast called Hot Mess Radio. That's pretty cool. But if this book resonates with you, my blog would, and the videos and the blogs of the other associates. Plus, you'll get to hear whenever there's a new product or a new book that's out. If you have issues around jealousy, then you'll want to get this book on abandonment in September when it goes up for sale. But in the meantime, download them all for free and don't have to pay for them. So anyway, If you resonate with the material and you would like to speak with me directly and have a session, there is this amazing technology called Skype. I'm looking at my iPad right now making this video. I could just as well be looking at you making this appointment over Skype. So anywhere in the English-speaking world. So if you would like to arrange for that, then let me know. My schedule is tight, but we'll fit you in. So thank you for your interest in the book, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it helps you a lot, and I hope it gives you the basics to have a really healthy and successful life and a healthy and a long marriage. So thank you very much.